Good morning and welcome to Viscount Leisure. May I first of all congratulate you on the purchase of this lovely auto sleeper Berkshire. Beautiful motorhome we've got here, lovely lounge in the rear, what a stunning van. My name's Chris and I'll be doing the virtual tour around your motorhome for you today. We'll be setting off around the outside, working all our way around on doing everything on the inside. Then we'll just little drive forwards back, so you'll see all the controls on the driver's side. From doing that, park it back up and then it'll be ready for my cleaner to come in, clean it all through, all ready for your collection. As you can possibly see from here, the outside's all been mopped and polished and the front, so all that's already been done for you. So with no further ado, we're going to set off and come up to our habitation door, entry door, way into our motorhome. And we can unlock the door, open the door, close the door like so, and we can lock it on the central locking on the key fob on there, and that locks my door and puts my step in and locks my cab doors as well. Now I can unlock my door and it will unlock this door here also, okay, but what will happen is it will relock itself because the cab doors haven't been opened. So you really need to be careful if you're actually using this manual key. So make sure you open that door or passenger door, all right, and that will then stop it rearming itself. But what will happen is if you don't do that, you lock it and you unlock it on this one here, it will rearm itself if you haven't operated one of the cab doors, and you'll see that, more than likely hear that in a minute. On here we've got an additional lock. We'll spring that round, come up into position like so, key in, line it up, drop it in, and gives us a bit of an additional security on there, and then out that comes, and we can spin that round. One of the things with this is don't ever have that over when you're traveling, okay, because it's a means of escape that is limited to you to be able to get out. So we can lock it back in that position, okay, for when we're not traveling. There, it's just rearmed itself. So you need to make sure that when you unlock it, you open one of the cab doors. It's programmed into the alarm system on there, and that's what it works. So you just need to make sure you've always got your keys in your pockets, or you open that front door there. So we've got that on the door, we've got our blackout blind on there, okay, and we've got our fly screen which comes down to meet our blackout blind on there also, okay, so we can set and shade that to any position that we want it to. And we've also got a window on this door here that opens as well, and that's why it's got the blackout blind and the fly screen in there. The door security stay on the top. I'm going to keep that door closed for the simple reason I've got all the heating on in there and it will keep it nice and warm. I can manually control my step button from the button just inside the door there also, and you can see that I've got my awning light on just up there, and I'll show you where that's switched when we go inside. You can manually lock and unlock this door also by using the key provided there, so we can lock it from there and we can unlock it on that one there also. You get two full sets of keys with your motorhome, the two Mercedes keys, lock and central lock, and then you've got a series of other keys going around here that we'll see operate as we go around. That one there's for the door lock, that one fits all the other locks, one of those does the inside, the square one there does another compartment on the outside. So we'll see that all as we go around. Coming through to the awning handle. The awning handle can be extended to the best possible position for you to reach in, and then that will come out to here and wind out and winds out like so. Now with these awnings, you just want to be really careful with them, especially in the adverse weather conditions. They are a sun canopy rather than an awning, and what we can do is we can wind it out to a point where we can reach it. Once we've got it to a point where we can reach it, we release the handle if we're doing it on our own, and then we get the legs out from underneath, and the legs are here, come in on spring tension, and we can drop that down to there like so, down to the ground, and lift the little plastic catch up to lock it in position. And we can do exactly the same on the one on this side here. Now these are great sun canopies, not very good all the year round canopies. As you can see, this will come out from our motorhome 2.5 meters, so it's 4.5 meters long, 2.5 meters out, 10 square meters of cloth. All right, so if it's windy conditions, okay, it's not that not that great to have it left out. So you always make sure that I always recommend you put it away if it's not in use. And also with the wind and the rain, okay, the rain also has the adverse effect, because what that will do is that will fill up on the canvas. The cloth there will stretch and pull the weight down, and it's all about the side of the van and the where it's fitted through to the side of the van. And we can carry on taking that all the way out until it is its maximum extent. Okay, so it'll come all the way out to its maximum till the arms are almost straight, and then the cloth will go saggy. Okay, so there we go, and then just take it back just to tension it back up. So there we have the set all the way out. And now what we can do is we can move our legs out, set them square and true, adjust the height to what we want, and you can see how large that cloth is. So please be careful. You can get pegs, you can buy tie down straps, there's all sorts of equipment you can get to secure it, but the only way to secure it safe and sound is to wind it back into your motorhome again. So what we'll do is now we'll do exactly the opposite of what we've just done and move it back in and store it away. So we come back. If you're doing this together with somebody, then you can support the front as you go. You can support the front as you go, and then put the legs down, and you don't have to do this walk it in, stop, walk it in, stop. Okay, so this time we'll get it all the way back as far as we need to get it till we can reach there. There we go, just about there, just so we can reach it. Okay, once we can reach here, then we can get the legs, we can push that down, release, put that in like so, and up to position like there, and the same on the one on this side here, round like so, always making sure that that foot goes away from me, okay, and clips back up into position like there. And once my two legs are stored away, then I can put my handle back in and carry on winding and store it away. Okay, and away we go. It'll automatically just go in and lock into position. Okay, the easiest way for this is to have this as high and as straight as you possibly can. By having it like that, it gives you the ease of getting it back in. And there we go, in, lock off, remove the handle like so, concertina it back up by undoing that into position, and then inside the door here there is a storage position for it just there. It goes in that way up if I remember rightly, and sits just in there like so. And there's your awning handle now stored away. So we can now carry on and move around our van. We can come through here to our fuel filler cap, which is locked away inside that door. I can open, release that, fill with fuel, diesel, and click it back in and put it back across like so. Open this door here, my front seat will come forwards and backwards. Okay, underneath there is your leisure battery. Okay, so that's the leisure battery that supplies all the 12 volts to the rear. And again, I can raise and lower the seat, the back up there, and I can move the bottom up and down from there as well. So that's my front seat. Along here I've got my glove box, storage up the top here, storage there, little storage container just down underneath there for my drinks holder, the old style ashtray, etc. in there, and the rest of this equipment we'll see when we get into the driver's side over the other side there. Through into here we've got our front screen blinds that will come over and concertina up and behind, and inside the door again we've got the concertina blinds come over, across, magnetize up, and what we'll do is we'll just do this other screen here. Okay, so we just need to do that like so. Take that up round the back of there, that one up round the back of there, and that magnetises over, and that one on that window that one on that window, and you can see you've got all the front fully blacked out, and then it just clicks all back into place like so. Part those over, back across, and click down into position with those little locks there. The same on the one on the other side over there, just a little click into position like so, and then coming over to here I can click those back into position, and that one back into position there like so. Underneath there is my toolkit for wheel change, etc. My fuses for the vehicle are under there, and my bonnet release is the clip just inside the pillar just there. Okay, electric window on that side, and cab door over and closed. So we can come round now through to the bonnet, lifting up the bonnet from here, left hand side of the badge, halfway into the fingers, I'll lift the bonnet release, and that will come up and click up onto a stair and stop into position there. Okay, so underneath here I'm just going to discuss the levels with you rather than anything else. There's nothing else that you need to know about under here. So what you've got is your brake fluid there, your coolant level is sat here, your oil dipstick is sat down there, your oil filler is just up there, and your screen wash bottle is sat in there like so. Okay, through to there, yeah, we don't have a vehicle battery underneath here, it's under the floor pan in there, but we do have the possibility of pushing that in to pick up our positive supply on there, and then we can pick up a negative supply on part of the chassis. Okay, chassis bolt on the side there, all right, which will pick up a negative supply, so we can donate or receive a jump start should we so need it to do so. And your filters, etc., are all under there, but the levels you need to check are just purely there in that one corner. Once you're finished, you want to release the bonnet, it's an up, and you need to push that stair forwards to release it, fetch it down and drop it in position. And that little button there is for the alarm of the alarm on the van. Coming round through the driver's side again, we said we'll cover that when we get into there. Okay, and underneath there you've also got a raft of electrics, okay, down underneath here, all right, to deal with all the engine side of life, etc., and your charging relays are all under there, and this seat does and adjusts exactly the same as the other one, but we'll get into there in a very short time. Coming along and round, we come to here, which is our toilet. Now, going to the toilet in your motorhome is no different to going to a toilet at home. Instead of you going down a 6-inch soil pipe into a sewer, you're going into down into the toilet, into a 3-inch gate valve, into a holding tank. The top little tank here, which is unusual for motorhomes, is it's got its own separate flush tank, so you can add a nice pink additive to that and dilute that down with water to give you a nice fragrance smell when you flush your toilet and clean. Also, it dilutes what we put into the top of the toilet down very well with a blue chemical we always add into the cassette as well. And thirdly, there's a little internal pump in there, and it keeps that lubricated and operates quite nicely also. We come down to the next compartment that houses our toilet cassette. There's our toilet cassette there. I can lift up the yellow handle and remove that from the van like so. Once I've removed it from the van with the ease of that, if you don't find that it comes out with the ease that I've just demonstrated, it'll be one reason and one reason only. That reason is somebody will have been to the toilet and left that gate valve open. By leaving that open, that puts that across the van and stops you from extracting it from the vehicle. So what we do is we take that out, and every site that you go on will have an Elson point. Now you can either wheel it like so with a handle supplied, or you can just carry it. Once you get your Elson point, you can give it a good shake up to break down the contents, open and take off the cap on the end, putting it somewhere safe, well away from where you're about to empty the toilet cassette down, because you don't want the wind or that to come down and blow it down the same hole as you're about to empty the contents of this into. Pressing the little yellow button there, which is an air release button, it then allows me then to empty my toilet and I'll clean it, and then I can clean it out. Every Elson point that you're on has got the facility of a hose there to be able to wash it out. You can put your hose in, you can take that out from there, open that like so, you can put your hose in and flush all that out until you've got it to the standard of the cleanliness that you want it. Once you've done that, you can return to your van and then charge your toilet ready for use. You do this by, as in accordance with the good book, it says to add 75ml in there of blue chemical to 2 litres of water. Well, 2 litres of water inside there will take up far too much use for me, so I normally just don't add any water if I'm in use with it. And to be honest, the book is just a guidance. You'll see everybody on your site that'll actually just get the container and put a couple of glugs in rather than measuring it and diluting it down. It works absolutely fine. Once it's charged and ready, you can slide it back into position, making sure it's locked off, turning the spout over and shutting and locking the door like so, with the round key just there. From the toilet, working around in a clockwise direction, we come to an outside locker space, so put that down, click that into position, and you can see you've got a huge area there for storing things such as mains leads, levelling wedges, etc, etc. Levelling wedges is a thing that's quite handy to have because it's always a great idea to have your van level. There's 3 reasons we like to have it level, and in this position here I would drive up onto a set of levelling wedges. The most important thing that likes to be level is the fridge. The fridge works on a heat which changes a liquid into a gas state to cool the fridge down, so that likes to be level. If it's not level and true, there's every possibility that it will work inefficiently, or worse still, not work at all. The other option is that our drains from our wash hand basin, kitchen sink and shower also prefer to be so much work so much better once we are level, and they drain away into the onboard tank that we've got far better. And there's a square key for that lock on there. And also our own comfort when we walk around the van inside is far better when it's level. So coming along from here, after we've stored all our equipment in there, we come through to our boiler. This is from our hot water, so this is the flue from our hot water heater on the van. Okay, and that cover comes off when we're going to use it on gas. Your heater, hot water heater, will work on gas and or electric. If we're going to use it on gas, we're going to remove this cover because it needs to flue, it needs to draw air in and discharge the gases out. So that cover needs to be off. If I'm just, however, using it on mains electric, I actually don't need to remove that cover. But if I want to use it on gas, I do need to remove the cover. I've got it on gas at the moment, which is why that's off. I'll leave that laid down there because when we get ready to drive later, you'll see me reclip that back on. Coming just back from there is my mains hookup point, so I can connect my mains electric into my motorhome, and I do this by plugging into my motorhome first and then extending my mains cable out and plugging it into my point of electric. And once I've finished, I always disconnect from my point of electric, and then I come back and disconnect from my motorhome. The reason for this is I'm always dealing with dead power, never live power, so it reduces the risk of harm, injury or electric shock to myself. So just to recap on that, I go plug into van, into point of electric, out of point electric, out of the van. Also, a little tip is I always have the cable faked out, nice line out like that. Lots of people these days tend to coil it up and want it left on a drum. What happens is they do draw quite a lot of current, and the inner cables of here, if it's left scrunched up like that, will overheat and break down, and then you won't have any electric to be hooked up to. So that's the idea, is that you fake it out like so it's all nice and out and unravelled to give it more chance of not overheating. Coming along, we've got our whale. The valve down there is the drain from my fresh water tank. Now we'll see, we'll drain that down on completion of this demonstration. In preparation, in case you're not going to use it, we'll empty the fresh water tank, although there's only a little bit in there. I've had it full, I've drained it down, so there shouldn't be too much in there to drain out, ready for when we've completed our demonstration, and we'll see all that from inside. Coming through here, we've got our external locker there. I know this is your mains lead that you've put in here already, or has been put in for you, and we've got access under the bench seat at the rear, and alongside with that is your carpets, but we'll see all that working from when we get inside and see under that seat. And then once we're finished with that, we can lock that off like so, and using the keys again supplied, and that is the round one there. That seems to be the one that fits nearly all the lockers on here. We can just lock it and lock it shut like so. My water filler point is here, and I've got my hose there to fill it with, and that plugs into there, and then I plug my fresh water hose to it, so I can leave it plugged in all the time. It will fill up the tank. Okay, once my tank's full, it will overflow, lets me know that the tank's full, and then I can just unplug it and ready to go. I can also buy a submersible pump that I could carry a barrel, and if I didn't want to go off to fill my tank up, I can get a barrel, come back here, put the submersible pump in there, the whale one that I've got, into there, and then I've got a position on the console that I'll show you when we get inside again, to be able to transfer water from a barrel into my tank on board, so I don't need to drive off and fill that up. So that's a great advantage of that. So I can fill it with a hose, or I can barrel it to it and pump it in also. Okay, coming round here to the rear, I'm just going to put this round here because that'll store in your gas locker in a minute. Just round here to the rear, we've got the back of your motorhome, the tow bar's being removed as requested, and underneath here you've got a couple of back stabilizers, so if you find you're on a windy hill or it's moving around, or you find a bit of movement in here, you've got the option of the steady handle there that's supplied to go onto your steady and wind them down, or you can use a drill and an extension if you're going to use them that often. Okay, and there you can see there's one on each side there. Okay, my battery drill's just gone flat. Okay, so I'll go back to the handle there, put that in, and I can wind those up like so. Okay, and there's one of those on each side. Now what I suggest is, if you do use those, all right, you make yourself a little card to go up over the dash, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to drive off and forget you've got them down. If you drive off and forget they're down, then you've got every risk of ploughing up the site owner's lovely site. So if you make yourself a little card up that just goes on the dashboard before you start your engine, it will always remind you if you've got your legs down. I personally have never used them much in a motorhome, but some people are different, and if you find there's a bit of movement in the back, that's the way to combat it, is to put your steadies down like so. And they're both up, and there's one on each side, and they're accessed through the back panel, one there and one there like so. Okay, coming round this side now fetches us round to our gas locker, and as requested, your two blue bottles have been changed for two brand new red bottles and connected up on the gas hose appropriately. Okay, so with your gas here, and I think that must be your toilet chemicals as well, as you slightly know, is that it comes from your gas bottle up through. We can isolate the bottle on here, not like your Bew ones. We can switch it off by turning that tap in a clockwise direction, anti-clockwise to open it, and then that allows the gas through into the system. If I want to change from bottle to bottle, I've got a hydraulic tap on there, valve wheel, and that is a back to front thread, so I turn that to, clockwise to undo it, anti-clockwise to tighten it. So to undo it, I take it off and put it into the other bottle if I need to change over bottles. This just goes in a cone against a rubber cone, which gives us the gas seal. So don't over tighten it, because if you do, you've got the risk of the black rubber cone getting stuck inside the neck of the bottle. So always make sure when you transfer it over that that black grommet's on the end. That then comes up and through and into our bulkhead regulator. That regulator reduces bottle pressure down to van working pressure, and that then goes through into the motorhome and goes through a series of isolating valves. The idea of the isolating valves is there's one for each appliance that operates on gas, so that I can isolate each independent appliance should I so need to do so. Only, however, if I've got a problem with that appliance does that need to be done so I can carry on with the rest of my journey. Bottles need to be strapped in and not filled with equipment inside there, okay, and overpacked. And I'm just going to put your fresh water hose in there, side of that locker like so, and you've got your toilet chemicals in there as well. Now, one of the couple of things I always suggest is we turn the gas off before we drive off. The reason for that is, God forbid, you should be caught up in a road traffic situation, or somebody hits you from the behind or something and ruptures your gas pipe, then you're not potentially putting the whole 6 kilograms of gas into that road traffic situation. So always turn your gas off before you drive off. When you come to open it for the first time, when you've got on site, I always strongly suggest that you go in and you burn a hobs as well on your cooker. That way it purges the system through. We know that it's all purged through, they've all lit, so when we come along to light such things as our fire and our water heater, etc., and our fridge on gas, we know that we've got a better chance of it lighting first time every time. And once I've finished, I can drop that down like so, and again the same key will lock it. I'm going to leave that open because it'll remind me to lock that off when I finish, before I drive off and we come to the next stage. Past your back wheel, and to there is the wastewater, the grey water tank drain valve. So that drains off the water out of my grey tank, and that's just the water that I've tested before we go inside. Just above that is the vents from my fridge. Now, we did touch on the fact that the fridge works and changes a liquid state to a gas state, and then that gas is carried on round and it goes through to cause the cooling effect in the fridge. There's 3 heat mediums that will heat the liquid to change it into that gas state. One is 12 volts, so that will operate when we start the engine and we're travelling from A to B, C to D. It will start to cool down our fridge or maintain the temperature when we're travelling from site to site. The second heat medium is our 240 volt electric, but only, however, when we're plugged into mains electric. And our third is our gas. And so we can operate it on gas. If we're not on a site and we're in the middle of a field somewhere, we've got no electric available, we can operate our fridge on gas. And that just allows that circulation through there, through the grills on the back there. So that completes the tour around the outside of your motorhome, which now gives us the opportunity to go inside and have a little look around, going through everything inside. So what we'll do is we'll go in, I'll close the door behind me because it's so lovely and warm in here, okay. And then we can see that on the side here we've got our handbook pack, so every relevant paperwork that we've got to the van is in that handbook pack. And there's also some gifts from us here at Viscount Leisure to yourselves to thank you for buying from us. So we've got a couple of nice thermal insulated mugs, a lovely brolly, and a nice pen there. So while we're just talking about loading, I'm just going to pack these away. Now, your handbook pack there, I always put on the front seat, so it's there readily available when you come here to collect your van. And your mugs I tend to pack away and put up here. And speaking of the mugs, etc., and loading your van, I always strongly suggest that when you load your van, we put our chocolate crisps and peanuts upstairs and our wines, beers and spirits down below. Okay, so which centre of gravity? It's our heavyweight equipment down low and our lightweight stuff up on the top there. So with that in mind, I've packed your nice lightweight mugs there, thermal insulated mugs up, and put them in the top shelf just up there like so. Then I can shut that down there. I'm just going to drop the brolly in that corner, and what I'll do is I'll put that down under one of the seats when we're finished. And your pen, I'm just going to click onto the handle there of your handbook pack, so you've got it readily available there. So working our way around from the back, working forwards, we can do over all the over cab lockers there. So 1, and they come down, click shut, 2 and 3, making sure that that light is out of the way so we don't catch it. And the same on the 2 at the rear, 1 and 2. Okay, with little side pockets in there. That one just up there, there, and there. So we've got all our over cab lockers there. Our lights here can be used as downlighters or direction lights. 1 and 2 are working nicely, and we've got plenty of spotlights underneath here. 1 and 2 there, reading lights as we like to call them. Another one over that side, another one over that side just there, one over there like so, one over there. Okay, so you've got 6 reading lights, 2 spotlights, and your lights over the top here are switched from the switch just down by the kitchen, which is that one just there, and that will switch our overhead lights off there like so. Okay, coming along here we've got our ceiling lights manually switched from there and there. Okay, and we've got our roof skylight here, which will open like so. Just always give these a little helping hand as they go. You can set them to wherever you need them to be, put them in the position away, and then you've got your fly screen and your blackout blind, so you can vent and shade to any given position you want. Once you're finished, you can wind that down. Okay, coming down, storing it away, not over winding it. All right, don't go too tight with it, otherwise it'll take it off the worm wheel drives that it's got on there. And this is the same with all our windows around the van here. Yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and these come out on what we call a click clack stay. So one click will hold it there, and then again I've got my blackout blind, my fly screen. I can set it all the way up, down, vent it and shade it. Okay, and part company, and then back again, firm push back out, and that will come down and lock into position like so. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And that's the same with the back one here. Come down, click up, set it to where we want it to be. Okay, open, close, and then okay, so that's all your windows and your blinds and fly screens done. So down below here you've got the option realistically of 2 single beds or 1 big double, so we can pull the sides out like so, and the one on the other side comes across. If I move the armrest out from there like so, and what I always tend to do is to drop the back into there and then swivel that back over like so and drop that one onto there as well. Okay, because that gives you a far leveler, evener area for sleeping on. Okay, once it's all over like so. The one from the other side comes up and does exactly the same thing and makes up together to give you your bed. And what we'll do now is we'll just make sure that we lift this up. We'll put this over here to one side, and then we can have a little look underneath the beds before we make them back up. That just clicks back into there like so. And then what we can do here is just lift that corner up, and you can see there we go. So you've got your mains lead, which is yours, the handle for the steadies, your carpets are here, and that gives you plenty of storage through there. Okay, right through the back there's your wheel box just there, and sat in the back there I believe is a little safe. We'll just have a quick look at that. So if we pull this all out like so, okay, we can have a good look in there. And again, there's another seat that comes out there, and we're quite right. On our keys there is our safe. Which will come out like so. And there we've got a secure safe box down there that just drops back into there, back into that side. And to operate that is the black square, big square key on the key fob there. So you've got a safe that's down there as well. That then drops back into position like so, and then we can make our corner back up here like that. Okay, and not forgetting also we've got our drinks cabinet that's up underneath here as well. Is there a button in the corner for that? I can't remember. I think it's a push up, I think. A little lever there will come down and drop our little drinks cabinet down there, little down lighter in, nice little container at the back, so you got your wines and spirits cabinet there, up, clicks into position, little lever at the back, drops it down like so. So now we've had a look under that side, I can make this all back up, putting our mattress away, our seat base back into here like so, that'll drop into there. Okay, and then my seat back over there. and that drops into there, and then my nice bolster armrest, my cushion on there. I'll have access underneath here as well, for there's more storage underneath there, so I can access that, and the same on the one on the other side over here. Okay, I can get up under there and you'll see that I've got storage underneath there as well. Okay, and that bed pulls in and makes exactly the same that way as the other one. Coming down over here, I've got a square pin socket, okay, which means I've got my mains electric on, tested and checked on there. Coming through to here, I've got nice drop down flap into there. I've got that storage in there, and by releasing the lock on this side here and pulling that top, I can extend that over, and here you can see that I've got more concealed storage shelving and all my gas isolating valves there. So my gas isolating valves there for my cooker, my fridge, my heater and my boiler are all sat down there, and again we only isolate those if we've got a problem, and once that's not in use I can push that away like so, and I can click that shut and that locks it, and again that one is the silver key there to release. So again, that's a really nice secured lockable storage in the back that nobody there knows about. Coming through here, I've got again illuminated cupboard, more drinks, more bottles, more storage in there, and I've got a nice storage cupboard down there for storing my equipment in also. Up on the top there I've got a 240 volt socket, okay, inside there for my TV. There with 3 amber lights on that, and I've also got a 12 volt point in there as well, so I can put my telly on there. You can see that's lit up as well, hang my telly on there, and that gives me the options of those in there. Coming through here, you've got your wardrobe. In your wardrobe you've got quite a lot going on in here realistically. You've got your freestanding table there which will come out, fits in the rear. You've got your solar panel, because you've got a solar panel on here which will charge your leisure battery, which we know is under the seat, and that's will charge that also, as long as that leisure battery being charged from our charger on our Sargent PSU unit there, and also charging when we're travelling as well. We've got our TV aerial here which we can raise up and raise it up and pick up, and on here we've got our booster, so our aerial comes into our booster here, and then we can turn and direct that to pick up the best signal. The greener that it is, there we go, the better the picture. If we're down there in a red position, it's not going to be such a good position there, and then I can lower that down into that position with the red dot facing this way, and I can isolate my booster from there, and that just feeds off to that one point, and it's a 12 volt feed to that booster switch there. Coming along down, as I said, we've got our fuses here, so there's all our 12 volt fuses here identified up to what they do, and our main 240 volt breakers and trips and MCBs are inside there, which are no different to yours at home. And I've got my battery charger which is built into that unit, charging my leisure battery constantly. A couple of cushions there for the infill to make up the bed, and I've got a hanging rail in there, and my light on the outside works on the switch on the inside there. Okay, so I can shut up and close that up. The drawer here has all been adjusted, all nicely lifted and raised so it fits flush, and we can see the dials on the fire. The Trumatic fire, lovely piece of equipment this is. It's nice and simple and straightforward. We can have it on a convector fire, and this is our gas here. You can see I've had it on number 5. If I turn it up to number 10, it equates to 15 through to 30 on a domestic heating system, is our 1 through to 10, and round to 0 is off. When I switch it on, I come round and press and lower that down there. It will tick, 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 and then flare up like it just did to fire up on gas, and that's convecting the heat out from there. I've also got a blown air system on here with a fan that I can put to manual, and run that fan that you can hear is cut in, and that will blow air out through the ducting system around, one up there and one into our bathroom area. I can put it through to the air, and that will automatically heat up and blow the air round to get the van up to temperature. I can switch it to the mid position, which is off. I've only ever used that realistically to heat my bathroom, because the convection heat in here is that great, I don't really need it. That's giving me almost 4 kilowatts of heat just on gas alone. I can boost that up or use it if I'm on mains electric with my electric heat here. Okay, and I can select 2 kilowatts, half a kilowatt or 1 kilowatt of electric, depending on what the site will take. And that's numbered 1 through till 9. And that 1 through to 9 is my equivalent, again the same as that, 15 through to 30 at home. Okay, takes a little bit longer. Gas is the hottest source, but as you can see, I'm running electric and gas together. I can switch my electric off by going to the mid position, and now my gas is switched off there. Okay, and to isolate, double isolate my electric there, okay, it's the switch here saying heater. That'll switch that heater off, and it's off over there, so that won't switch on. The one below that is my water heater on electric, and again I'm going to switch that off for now, but that's my water heater on electric, is just there. Okay, so I've had that working on electric, and you'll see that very shortly. And I've also had that operating on gas, which is down here for the heater. That's not for the room heater, this is for the boiler. Okay, ultra store is where we store our hot water, and gas with that is simply off and on, and I can set the temperature of my hot water from 30 through to 70 degrees. Okay, I'll find my boiler located in here underneath the drawer. Okay, so that's where my boiler is, and you can see that from there. Let me just put a torch on so you can actually see slightly better with a torch on. All right, so there's my boiler sat in there, the back of the fire, my water pump that takes a suction from my water tank, and most importantly is the drain valve for my boiler, which is the yellow valve just down there. Now in that position like that with the pump running, if I open that, it's going to simulate a tap open. So if I just open that like so, that will drain the boiler down to ground. Now I'm going to do that at the end of this demonstration. So when you pick your van up, you'll find it's completely drained down, and you'll need to fill it all up with water again. And to do that, you fill your fresh water tank, but you'll need to come in here and just put that lever so it's flat like it is there. Okay, because when it's in the upright position like that, it's draining down to ground. Now what's heard you rumbling is the pump's just cut in, because the pump works on a pressure system, so the pump's now cut in and refilled the boiler. Okay, so you'll find that that is drained. We'll do that on completion of this demonstration, and you'll witness me do that very shortly. So I'll just put all that back together for a minute for you. Okay, switching my torch off. Okay, and then I'll just put the floor back in, but we'll be back in there to drain that on completion of seeing everything working. So that's everything inside there like so. And that, just to recap then, your heater is ultra heat, and that's operated from there for the gas, there on the electric with the isolating switch at the top of the wardrobe. Our water heater, which is in the cupboard at the back behind here, can be operated on gas by switching it on there, as long as we've got our flue cover off, not forgetting that, and operated on electric by switching the lower switch on there, which says water heater on in there. Coming across through to the other side here, we've got our fridge here, so we can see we've got our fridge there, and we've got salad crisper shells, etc. in there, and along inside there I've got a nice great big chunk of ice that we've been making. Okay, and you've got your lock on the top of the door there, so making sure that's over, we can lock that over. And this is a nice and simple and easy to operate fridge. So I've selected the flame is gas. Okay, amber light lighting. The next one down is my fridge on electric, and if I go down to the next one, I won't get a light on there because I'm not running my engine. When I start my engine, that will start to work. So I've got electric there and gas on the top one, and that little flash, you'll hear it tick 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 till it lights. Okay, and that'll light. If it fails to light, okay, then you need to just switch it back off and put it back on again, and the off position's up there. The dial on the right here is our temperature control, so that's cool through to cold maximum. Okay, we set it about midway. Coming along through to our kitchen, we've got our tap, so we can go from cold water through to hot water, and it will be hot because it's been running away. And what we're going to do is melt the ice to show you how hot the water is. Okay, and it's too hot for me to put my hand on. Too hot for me to put my hand on. And you can see it steaming away there. We just need to get it to pop out of there. There it goes. Okay, but I can mix that water so I can get more water out of there and melt the ice. Okay, even though it's in my hand. All right, but if I want to melt it quicker and faster, all right, I can turn it up to hot, and there it goes. So that's running around about the 70-degree mark now. Stop the pump, stop the tap. There we go, all nice, all done. All right, and it'll drain away. A little bit slow to drain away because I'm running on a hill that way, which is what I said about needing to be level. Okay, so you can see it's actually trying to climb up a hill to get into the waste tank. Okay, so we've finished with that there. We can then move the tap over, making sure that that lid is nice and firm and secure before we lower it. And then we've also got our window here, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, that we can click and sway, and again open, close, set and shed to the positions that we want it in, and down and round like so. We've got a light underneath there. Okay, so we've got one over underneath there. All right, and then we've got another cabinet up here to put our bottles and jars and cups and mugs in there. Right, so moving on to our cooker then, and we've got our 3 burners here. 1, 2 and 3. Press, light, hold, ignite. Okay, there we go. And then we can go round to minimum without going out to a simmering, back to maximum, and round and back to the off position. Coming down to our grill, inside our grill we've got our grill pan handle all in there, and then the one for our grill is there. Press, light, ignite, and there's our grill, all nicely lit and burning. And there we go, and that's switched off. We'll just drop that back into there like so, and then coming along through to here, round, there's our oven, lit, press, light, ignite, hold, and then release, and there it is on, and we can set our temperature settings throughout there. We've also got a nice little pan cupboard underneath there, along with storage in there, cutlery tray in that one there, storage over here. Oh, it's just such a lovely van. It just keeps on. Nice light above there. Okay, we've got a nice vented cupboard above our sink that'll open all the way up. I can strategically stop that on the ways down and into position there, and then I've got my fly screen and my blackout blind to go across from there. So coming along through to the cab area, we've got our storage cupboard. We've got a twin operated storage cupboard up underneath there, and I've got another storage cupboard in there, and that now leads us to come through into the bathroom. I've got my independently switched lights there and the other one there. I've got in here a rock and roll, as I call it, roof light, so that when it's windy and I'm showering I can tilt it one way to stop the wind coming in, but it'll still allow the condensation to come out, and I can move that over to there like so. Okay, I've got a little retaining clip, I can leave it over there. I can close this door over here, which then gives me my shower cubicle in there, and you'll see from there that I've got plenty of hot water and plenty of pressure in there. There's my pump cut in, and it is hot, okay, because it's coming off one common tank, and it's nice and warm in here because the heat's coming up through from the ventilator there that we had, okay, with our fan running. As I said, it's a 12-volt fan, so if you're on a greenfield site, sometimes you're better off actually just running it to heat your bathroom up when you want to come in here. Little push button on there, open and close your little vanity unit there, okay, and then your sink tap is there, cold through to hot, and it will be hot. As we say, it's one common boiler. Okay, our cleaners are due in to clean this, so hence I've run the shower. Toilet operation, where we talked about the toilet outside. What we see when we do, we can swivel the toilet to any position, so it's in the easiest position to get our legs in. If we want to go for a number one, we just either sit or stand, go for a tinkle, open the gate with a lever just down there, press the flush, flush, and away it goes, drains it down into our tank like so. Okay, once I finish flushing away, then I can close that over, thus retaining smells in the toilet cassette and not in my motorhome, and allowing the operator the ease to empty the toilet first time every time. A little tip here for our number twos is, if you tear 2 strips of toilet paper off there, 2 strips that way, 2 strips that way, then you can line the toilet bowl. Once you've been to do what you need to do, you can open the gate, thus forming a nice little parcel, dropping it down through the hole, giving it a flush and a little helping hand on its way. Once that's all done and it's all flushed away and into the toilet, we can then make sure that we close the gate on the toilet, keeping the smells in the toilet cassette and not in our caravan, motorhome or caravan, and allowing the operator the ease to empty the toilet first time every time. Once I've finished, I can turn it back round and spin it back round into position, and there is a quick intro into toilet use, and I can switch my lights off in there like so, and then coming out, closing the door like that. That now just leaves me smoke detector to check and press there like that. I can go around and switch off my ceiling lights here and here, and I can just shut that cupboard down there, so I know that I'm now starting to get ready for the road. I've done all my checks on here. I've got an electric hob on there. Okay, I just need to put some water on the top of there and switch that on. We see that switched on by the light on there, and we'll see that start to steam off as it starts to dry out. As it does so, there it's just starting to get warm. We know it's on because the red light's there. We can now see it all evaporating and drying away. Switch it to the off position, wipe it down, making sure that's nice and secure before we drop it down. And then we've got, as we know, our overhead lights there. We've got a 240 volt socket just underneath there that we know is working, so we can stand our kettle toaster. Not forgetting our kettle toaster, hairdryer, straighteners, tongs, razors, shavers will only work if we're plugged into mains electric and we've got square pin plugs. It won't work any other way. Paper towel holder underneath there as well, and then that just leaves us to come round. We know that's for the fire, to our control panel up here, and the auxiliary switch there is our outdoor light. So if I press that, okay, you can see that that is my outside light on and off. That's my water pump on and off. So if I turn a tap on now, you'll find that the water pump won't run. Okay, so that'll just be the residue in there. So that now means that now I've turned off the water pump, I can drain my tank as we said we would, because we need to, because it's winter time and we empty all the water out of our vans. So coming down to here into that little yellow lever that we saw, okay, we lift it up into the upright vertical position. Okay, as you can see there like so. So what's the first thing you do when you get receipt of your van? Well, the first thing you do when you get receipt of your van is that you will come along and you'll start filling up with fresh water outside to fill up the fresh water tank that's underslung underneath. You'll then come along and come into your motorhome and come into the cupboard just under there and put that valve down flat. Once that's down flat, then you can start to open up your taps here to your kitchen sink and set off on cold and move it round to hot. And what's going to happen is it's going to take 3, 4, 5 minutes for that water to come through the system and purge the air out of our hot water tank. Once the air's been purged out of the hot water tank and we've got a constant flow of cold water coming through the hot side of the tap, and only when we've done that we can come along and put our water heating on electric if we're plugged into electric, or on gas as long as we've removed the flue cover on the outside. Okay, so that's called winterization. I also strongly suggest when you're laid up in the winter that you actually open the tap on completion as well. By opening the tap, we all know water expands. If we leave that open while we're in the winter and it's not being occupied, then any frost that comes up will expand the water and it's got somewhere to go. So I always strongly suggest that you leave your taps open, your shower open, and your wash hand basin open. Also advise that you drain the toilet tank. Just inside the cupboard there's a little bung to empty that tank out as well. Okay, so that covers that side there. The button on the top there selects. If that's glowing blue, it shouldn't be, because you've selected your vehicle battery. That's very good, because you can charge your vehicle battery from your onboard charger. But if we're using it on a basis, okay, and you're not plugged in, then you'll run your your vehicle battery flat, and then you'll need a jump start, as we discussed earlier. Okay, and if I come down the keys on this side, I can see I've got 12.7 in my vehicle battery. Okay, I can scroll down. My main supply is on. My leisure batteries are lead acid. Fresh water tank's now empty. Wastewater tank's been going to ground, so we know that's empty. External temperature 11. Battery currents drawing none, because we've got all the lights switched off. Internal pump I've got running. If I press the middle button there, I can select external pump. So if I wanted to use a barrel, I could use a barrel, or I can select both and use both at the same time. Okay, we'll stay with internal for now. Water tank fill, so again, it starts in a minute's time, so don't expect your pump, if you want to fill your water tank straight away, to cut in straight away. But I can running, okay, or there, so I can start it on running. I can set my clock here and now, okay, which I can do because it's 1400. So set hour 14, set the minutes or 6. And we just do the time, 16, 15, 13, 11. 12 or 7 now, there we go, and set, and then you're back to the front screen showing us the time there. Okay, 25 degrees in our van. Okay, so that's it. And then to switch everything off, press the button on the top, and that's everything in the van switched off and isolated. So that's great. Now what we can do is go around to the outside of our van and start getting ready to go on the road. Start the engine and move on and watch everything operate. Now, not forgetting that step will go in when we start the engine. There you can see the water in my grey tank being drained out as we speak. Coming up through to here, I now know that I can turn my gas bottle off, ready for the road. So that needs to be switched off, because we switch it off before we drive off. There we go, by turning that valve in a clockwise direction. I can then come along and get my one key that seems to fit 90% here. Okay, round and lock my my gas locker door, making sure everything's all ready for the road. Coming along, I think my workshop manager's just shouted me, Alan. Thank you, Alan. He's just disconnected my mains electric, so I'm safe to disconnect my mains electric myself. Okay, you can see the water dribbling there. That's the water from my boiler, my hot water tank there. Okay, and what we'll do is any water left in our fresh water tank, we're just going to open that and drain that off to ground as well. Okay, and then put my flue cover back on. Now, not forgetting, I only need to put that on when I'm using my water heater on gas. Coming through now here to the front. Okay, we've all done, so we're all set. We know our aerial's stored away, all our windows are closed, blinds and fly screens are in the open position, so that just now allows us to go into our motorhome, through to the cab area. Okay, and here we can adjust our seat forwards and backwards. We can raise it and lower it on the handle on the side. We can move the front and the back up and down, and the backrests all working fine. And then I can put my key in, automatic, foot on the brake, start the engine, and there we go. On she comes. I've got standard CD radio player up there, radio 1. Okay, I can tune it. I've got a CD player in the top there, FM, AM. I can pre-program the channels. Okay, volume control on that side there, and switch it off from there. Okay, a little map holder there. I've got my heating controls through on this side here. Okay, so I can go through from there. I can increase my fan speed, air conditioning's on, going through all the way to where I want 18 degrees. I can alter the direction that I want everything shows me vents there, floor and screen. Okay, I can switch these off independently on there. I can decrease my fan speed down. Okay, I've got my rear view camera showing me up there, all right, which can stay on all the time, and it shows me the rear of my motorhome as well. I've got my indicators on the left hand stalk there with my wipers, once round, again round, and pull towards me is my main beam. Push on the end, swishes and waters my screen to wash my screen. Okay, I've got limiter and cruise control on the top over that side. My lights, side lights, main lights on there. Pull out gives me my fog light. Okay, and then I've got my electric windows 1 and 2, and back up. Like so. There we are. And then I can alter my wing mirrors left and right, up and down. Okay, and the same on the one on the other side. And now just a little drive. I can come across, press drive. Okay, this handbrake here drops down to the ground, so you need to pull it up to push the button in to release it. We're in drive. We can now drive forwards like so. Okay, knowing that we're all ready to go. It's showing us drive on there. I've got neutral, I've got reverse. Put my handbrake on, release my handbrake, accelerate, reverse there, and you can see how good that camera actually is, because it shows you exactly where the back of the van is and where we want to be. Okay, so just there is absolutely fine. So we've gone into neutral, back up into our park position, handbrake on, back down and release. Okay, and we can now switch off our motorhome. So we've seen it all drive, all run, all operate, and now we can just come out of the van, stepping round to the front, and that really completes our tour around the motorhome. It just allows me to take you the thanks to thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful. I'll be available on the day of collection for any questions you might have for me. I look forward to meeting you then. Thank you once again for watching. Happy holidays in your motorhome. My name's been Chris, and goodbye. Thank you.